Hey, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are out there. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
Greetings to you. It is February 19th, 2020. We're going to write a little bit of code today. I've got my Azure hat on today because I had a friend reach out to me today and say, hey, we know you want to deploy out to Azure. We know that's a thing. We want to get those samples that you've been working on stream. You've been showing how your components work. What do you say we do a deployment out to Azure of Blazor components? So I think that's what we'll do today. We'll get things wired up so that Azure DevOps compiles and runs our samples. And oh, here it is. Here it is. I was just about to say it. Compiles and runs the samples.
And then,
deploys it out to Azure App Service.
and then,
We have some sort of validation then that the current version of our components is available with cool samples out there for folks to be able to check out and interact with and verify that it behaves the same way that they expect. So that's what I have on the agenda for today. What do you think, chat room? Does that sound like a good thing to go after? Let me know here. Let me say hello to everybody who's stopping by. Extorted. Hello. DJ Vortex is here. Hugo Doll. And there's that DD Walsh. There she is. Hello. Let's see here. It's Girl Scout Cookie Week at mobilize.net. Hey, hello. They have gluten-free cookies. I may have had one or two bags from a case. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. It's Litany is here. Hey, it's Litany. It's Litany's another member of the Live Coders team. There they are. Where'd it go? Up there. Welcome in. Good to see you. Kate's is here. Hello. DJ Vortex is interested if we could talk about deployment to IIS. Okay, we could talk about that. It's exactly the same as deploying a server with ASP.NET Core. It's exactly the same. So there's not... IIS isn't really a factor in this. Yeah, you're going to just copy out. You do a publish, copy it out to IIS. Make sure that you have the ASP.NET Core extensions installed if you're doing server side. If you're doing Blazor client side, you don't even need that. Just copy it out and it'll just work. You could serve it from a static folder. Musical Bookworm, good to see you. Veronica Hex, hello. Welcome in. So good to see you, my friend. Caparino, it said next stream in 2 days. You know what I got to fix? Can we fix the front page here? Can we do a thing with that? Here, let's do this. Let me go over here. Let's do the thing. I'm going to switch scenes here, and let's fix my my channel here. I'm going to get some music playing here in the background. Today I'm going to play Cyan from Music to Code By. I need something a little peppy. Lift me up. I am not in the best of moods today. It's been a rough morning here at the Fritz Casa. So here you can see there's all the stuff you can see when you scroll down here on Twitch. But don't scroll down. I'm scrolling down for you here. Let me go over here, and I'm going to go to Streamlabs Stream Schedule. Let's configure that chalupa. Make sure this is set up right. Yeah, I don't have Wednesday and Thursday in here, and that time for Tuesday, well, that was just wrong. It was right when I was in Stockholm, so let's fix that. Let's fix this one. So I want Wednesday to show up at 10. Thursday, we're going to be on at 10 a.m. That should do it. Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. No, it's already there. No. Where's my save button? There it is. All right. That should have your schedule updated down below on the stream. What else is going on? Hey, Webface. Hello. So, all right. Took care of that. One last thing. We've got the music going. Let me see what else is going on over here in the chat room. Eagle Hansen is here. Hello. Are the only one getting a 500 error on GitHub? A 500 error from GitHub. That doesn't sound good. And I can't select that. Let's see here. Well, first off, that's the wrong address. Take a look there. Nope, loaded just fine for me. So, let's see what else is going on here. You're getting it there also. Nope, I'm not even logged in, and I'm able to get through there. If I go to my other browser, right where I am logged in, and I try that same address, and you'll notice I'm not logged in. I'm in private browser mode here. Yeah, I'm just fine going there because I need to go to the Azure portal today. We're going to spend some time over there, and I need to be in private Azure portal mode. Try the homepage? Sure. And once again, that's not my signed in browser. Hang on. Do the GitHub. Looking fine from this way. Could be region specific, sure. So this is Cyan. This is music to code by our friend Mr. Carl Franklin. Scientifically designed. It's engineered to get you in the flow, get you in the groove, so that whatever task it is you're working on, you can focus on and just get stuff done. Check it out, mtcb.pwop.com. Execute the music command in the chat room just like Hugo did. Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin, for letting us listen to your music, and I read that really, really fast.
And then?
I don't know what else to say. I'm lost. We're going to be deploying here. We're going to be deploying out to Azure today. I'm excited that I'm deploying to Azure. No. I'm a glutton for punishment today. If you're a longtime viewer of this stream, you know that every time I touch Azure live on stream here, it breaks. Not just I do something wrong, but Azure breaks. Like, what was it? Wasn't there a cartoon or something in the 90s, early 2000s where, no, Goonies. Anytime they handed something to the character Chunk, right? Larger kid. Terrible nickname. Didn't matter what it was, he would drop it within 5-10 seconds. I am Azure's Chunk. It just happens. And we're going to deploy to Azure today. And we'll see what happens. That's your GitHub experience right now. Let me take a look. What do you got? Oh, that's a... Yeah, you got a problem there, Eagle. But I'm clearly... Maybe I'm on the other side of a CDN or something that's handling this properly. I don't know. Let's see here. JC Comrade asks, what model is my headset? This is an Audio-Technica. BPH... BP something. BPHS1. This is the same type of headset that you see pro sportscasters use when they're out in the field, or you see news reporters when they're out and they've got a headset on, a big headset on like this, where they've got full coverage. That's what I'm using. Make sure I'm not on the VPN. Well, this is true. Let's make sure my VPN is turned off, because Microsoft likes to do funny things when I'm on the corporate VPN. That's turned off. We're off that. They've reported a problem on Twitter for GitHub status. Okay, great. We can move on. Exactly. I'm seeing those comments. So, let's see what we can do to start setting up. I just want to use Azure App Service for this, because these are very simple components that we're using. We're not doing much, if any, processing. So I should be able to set up an Azure App Service that will receive and host these Blazor web form components samples. Now, right now we have two projects that run, one for server side and one for client side. I'm okay with deploying them as two separate samples for right now, but I would like to have a unified sample at some point that shows the client side, the server side, and also shows a little bit of the code from what it looks like from web forms. So there's a clear, here's how to migrate your code all the way through sample experience. So those are longer term goals, but the ability to just click through and see how it works, and the samples that we built as more of an interactive, as more of a complete test experience, right? I think is something valuable to post. Does anybody know if Exchange supports SMTP UTF-8 email address internationalization for emails? I don't know. I'm not an Exchange person, Johan. I would have to ask somebody else. You've been trying to get Blazor deployed for 2 days now, says Unhip Coder. What problems are you having? Hey, Jean Valjean, welcome in. As long as Azure DevOps can reach GitHub, yeah, there's going to be a problem. If that doesn't work, then we're going to work on something else. If GitHub is down when I try and do this, right? Like, there's a problem. So, let's take a look at our project here. We're over in this folder. Okay. Now I'm getting it. Welcome on in, King Cools. Hello, hello. This is I poured my vanilla cappuccino into my mug today, just so it was a little bit easier for me to grab. But yeah, we're not going to be doing too much work deploying or anything while GitHub is down. So there goes that idea.
Oh my.
Inconceivable!
It's like it heard that I wanted to be able to build and do something deploying where I was tightly integrating with GitHub. You know what I'm saying? Like it knew I was going to, hey, Jeff's going to integrate with us. Jeff's going to be working directly with our service today. All right. So if there's one thing that that I can do, it's adapt. So we're going to go do something else instead. We're not going to deploy to Azure. We're not going to work with GitHub today because GitHub is broken.
This is only a test. If this
No,
were
it's not a
real
test.
Fritz emergency, you'd be hearing about freaking out and panic.
Yep, we would. While Azure might still be able to pull the files, I'm not even gonna tempt fate. There is so much nonsense that I'm gonna run into. I don't even want to mess with this. This is a don't come near me right now. Things aren't working properly scenario. GitHub is down, and I'm live streaming. So what are we going to do? Write code offline and think about deploying to Azure on another day. All right. So we're not going to do that today. We're going to change the topic. Let's go back and work on our form view. I'm changing the title. It's frustrating. Thank you for the follow. Is that supposed to be Fuba? Welcome in. I know, it was loading for me, Elliot, and it literally stopped. Just flat out stopped. I was working just fine, and yeah. There's the project. So, no problem. We will do something else instead. Let's see, what branch was I on? I believe, there we are, feature form view. Let's go change over there, and I don't know what's going on out with the rest of my project, so I'm going to work isolated here, and I've got a merge issue. Feels good, doesn't it? There we go. Both modified before webform CS project. Oh, if it could be any other file. All right, we can do this. We can do this. Let's take a look at that. And I'm going to use Notepad because I'm actually editing the text file there. Let's see if we can see where things are hosed up here. Somebody did a morning deploy at GitHub. Somebody done messed up is what they'd done. Here we go. So we need to include both form view default and form view grouping, because both of those files were added. And this is what you're seeing here. Maintaining this file that says here's all the files, the manifest of files that are in my ASP.NET project. This is one of the reasons that they rewrote how the CSproj file, the .NET project file, works and interoperates, because maintaining this, you're going to run into many of these types of collisions. So here, look, there it is, defining what to do with the form view. And I also need my grouping file down here as well, but I need, see, it's not nested quite correctly. I need this same subtype and compile for both of these. That, yeah, right. So we'll put that, and right, my designer files. Oh, they don't have a subtype on the designer. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Dependent upon default ASPX, yes. Dependent upon grouping. Okay, good. I think I did those right. Looks like it. Okay. Any other mashup here that we need to fix? Looks good. Let's make sure that that can open and get into our code. You're still getting a 500 error on GitHub. Yep. I know. Notepad and nobody redeemed channel points. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So, nope, not going through. I am not going to go through the VPN to access GitHub. Everything that I do here on stream, I try and do as public as public accessible as possible. I do not want to show any Microsoft backdoors or back channel things. I want to make this as genuine, as real an experience as possible, including when I run into issues, including when things break, things don't work. You know what? I'm in the same boat as you. I don't want to have to deal with and figure out something else, right? Or say, well, I've got secret access XYZ. No, never going to show you that. Never going to do that. So, hey, Coding Bandit. Hello, hello. Good to see you. There's a picture that Carrie took of me from, was it last year or year before? It was way early in my streaming career, in the life of this channel, where GitHub was down and we replaced the unicorn that was appearing with my face. That was a thing. Hello, is that Fifth Nail? Welcome in. Nice to meet you. Yeah, GitHub's down. Copper Beardy. Hello, hello. Yeah, we should blare the Scots. So, Copper Beardy and the Coding Bandit, they're both members of the Live Coders team. Make sure you check them out. Thank you for the shout outs. Good to see you. Something like Opera VPN. Yeah. It is loading fine for you now. I've moved on. I'm not going back. I'm not going to flounder in what I'm doing here on stream. I'm not going to change. I'll change directions, but I'm not going to change directions that fast. And that dramatically. We've already moved away from it. We'll deploy to Azure some other time. So we have this project up here before web forms, and we have our content samples in here. We've been working on things for the form view, and our form view is a very simple component that gives you the ability to specify an item template that says, here's how I want to format, here's how I want to output and present some data item that we like to present in somewhat of a form, right? If you think about a stack of paper forms somebody has on their desk and they need to do data entry on, that's what this type of control is trying to facilitate. So we've got the ability to put this in read-only mode and present it on the screen. We're going to need to get into edit and add mode so that we can, once again, help with that data entry type of interaction. So let me take a look back at the chat room here. It's a whole bunch of comments. Jean Valjean says, today I gave a small talk about Blazor for one of my customers during the coffee break. There was the question why it was named Blazor. Is there an official explanation for the name? That's a great question, Jean Valjean. And there is absolutely an official explanation for the name. There it is. It's and when I explain it to you, you're gonna think that's quite simple. My gosh, why didn't I think of that? Blazor is made up of Razor, right? Razor templating, Razor markup, like you see. Well, that's not it, but like you see here, I've got Razor markup. But it was originally designed and named because it was going to be working with WebAssembly in the browser, where Razor typically works on the server. So the combination of browser and Razor, Blazor didn't sound right. So let's just name it Blazor. And that's where it came from. It's Razor that operates in the browser. There you go. And it wasn't, right, I've adopted that, the purple sequin jacket appropriately to have fun with the name Blazor. And they have a cool flame logo now too. That's right. You're right. It's not a logo. Hang on, Elliot. Hang on. It's not a logo. Friends, don't refer to that thing, that Blazor icon. Don't refer to that as a logo. Please don't refer to it as a logo. It is verboten to refer to that as a logo. There is only one logo that Microsoft has, and it's that window thing. Those are icons. We have an icon for Visual Studio. This is the Azure icon that appears on screen and happens in the corner when you use Azure. Those are icons. They are not logos. There is only one product logo for Microsoft. Xbox has a logo because Xbox is slightly different, but everything else, there's only one logo. The cool flame icon. There you go. Thank you. Yes. The otherwise the Microsoft branding police will descend, and we don't want that. So, let me see what else is. Folks are saying, "Oh, just move all your stuff to Bitbucket or Azure repos." There's one small problem. I can't get to GitHub to get that stuff. So, okay. I'm not sour at all about the whole logo icon thing. Not at all. Brazier is a Dairy Queen thing. This is true. Yes, the Microsoft branding police. You don't want to anger marketing people. Don't do that. Okay, so we have our form view like this, and that's nice. We can present, and we have a simple form view sample set up, right? We have our form view sample here, so that it behaves the same way. And I love this, right? Because I can put these two blocks of code right next to each other. And I've got ASP form view, widget form view is the name, allow paging, true, data key names the same, on page index changing, love that. Run at equal server, but I added item type and context here. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, friends? Because if you were here last time, and I'm actually, let me commit merged web forms projects. Okay. There we go. I'll sign it. There we go. Now I can't push it out yet because I don't have GitHub. But what I do have that we did merge in, check it out. I have a data binder now. If I implement the data binder inside a form view, I can get rid of this entirely and have exactly the same syntax that I have up here, right here. Oh! Is that just, how do you pronounce that? Jazz UK 70? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. You shouldn't mention Credge. Oh, I use lots of Credge. Credge, Edgium, Chromudgeon? I don't know. Is that a thing? Can we make that a thing? The Chromudgeon? Yeah. Coding Bandit. Yeah, I'd noticed that also. The GitHub fail whale has a parallax effect. It is fun. But I need to be productive. So, Caparino loves component reusability in Blazor. It is so cool. And DJ Vortex prefers the name Edgium. Okay. How much value is lost by people depending on when GitHub is down? Well, here's the thing. It's Git. You should have all your stuff locally anyway. Okay, let me wire up. So there were changes that we had to make inside of our components in order to support the data binder running. So what that was, right, is I had to put a cascading value into it to allow the data binder to run. So what I'm going to do is, well, look at this. I don't even have a form view test yet. Let's create it. So, okay. Let's create a form view test. Make sure that that works.
And then?
Write a form view a data binder test for the form view, so we can get the data binder working with the form view. And then Copper Beardy
resubscribed for 14 months.
Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that resub. 14 months of support and a live coder to boot. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And we're going to make a donation to code.org. So let's write those couple of tests here, and we'll get this. See the counters here? I'm at 138 unit tests in my project. That's feeling pretty good. I'm hoping we get this number north. We get it above 500 by the time we hit our minimum viable product on this. So let's do those couple things. Let's write some tests to get things started here, and we'll move into adding the data binder capabilities for the form, and I want to get to starting the edit and add templates here. I think that's a valuable goal to get to today. So I'm going to name this folder. What do you mean? There is no form view folder there. Where do you see form view? Yeah, I know. You told me that just a minute ago. Thanks so much. Where's form view? How dare you tell me there's a form view and there's no form view? Where's form view? Is there a thing here saying ignore form view? Don't think so. So where is it? Where is it, smart guy? Huh? Let's see. Open folder in File Explorer. Hidden folder. That's what I'm thinking too, Unhip Coder. But okay. It's telling me there's a form view, but it's not there. It's the one-armed man. Okay, that was weird. Whatever. GitHub is down. I can't do the. I'm not even going to think about this. Right? So let's do this with the simple example. Let's do the simple. So here's the thing, right? Let's talk about this for just a second. In order for something to be hidden, there's a thing that appears in here that says hidden, right? If I take this and, well, first off, right, I would need to go over here and right? I can't even hide this if I wanted to. Neural Net says GitHub is down. Oh yes, start panicking.
This is only a test. If this were a real Fritz emergency, you'd be hearing about freaking out and panic.
Right? Well, if I exclude from project, right, that puts an entry in here that says it's been excluded. There it is, right there. And why is it removed? Why is it removed? No. There it is back now. Okay. So we're going to put a form view in here, and it's going to do the exact same thing as we do with our simple list view. So I'm going to, as always, cheat and copy that content. Okay. So instead of this being a list view, we're going to do a form view. And I want to do exactly the same thing as right here. Right? So this is a form view, and I'm even going to copy the exact same stuff. Because I can. Know what I mean? Like this. Let me see. I'm going to need some of these to get started. Right? So, that looks ugly, but whatever. It's fine. So my item template, let me go to here and I'll grab that item template. No, this one, right? Paste that in. Okay, so now I have an item template. And you know what? To make this a little bit easier to identify and find things, let's put these in 3 cells. I don't really care what it looks like, but I'd like to be able to just isolate and say, well, there's 3 cells, and here's what they look like. Okay. There we go. So I've got a table with 3 cells that will appear inside of my form view. That's easy. That's the way it should appear, but let's do our test. GitHub is now up for Stealthy. Fantastic. Frank is here. Hello. Good to see you. Frank's another member of the Live Coders team. Can we get a shout out for Frank Bushers? Thank you so much, Hugo. Someone unplugged the server to plug in the vacuum. Okay, that story is incredible. Was that a Richard Campbell story, Carrie? I lost a parent. Ooh, good catch. Thank you. Thank you, Elliot. You know what I'm going to do? I'm feeling lucky today. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling, dare I say, a little risky.
Oh my.
Can we do live share? Do we want to do a live share? I feel like I should open up live share. Can I show get component under test how it gets the rendered HTML? Sure. I'm not even going to make this read only. I am going to go full hog. Anybody can join in right now and get full read-write access. So you can get the full markup for this. You can write this. When this runs, the component under test runs here, it will render that entire thing when you call get component under test. You can get the markup right there. So what another contributor on the project, Gareth, has been doing is saying console right line markup so that he's able to see it on the console, what that markup looks like. I don't really need to do that. What I do want to do, yes. I need a page index changing here. I need to wire up that event so it goes somewhere, right? Otherwise, this isn't going to work at all. Right? I don't know. It's going to do something here. So you're welcome to join, and you'll have full read-write access to my live share. And if you do something evil, I will catch it before it gets committed. So I should be able to run this test now and see that it's doing something here. But I want to make sure that we'll find the TD, right? And there should be 3 of them here. Now, I don't think there's going to be just 3. I think it's also going to output a pager that'll have that as well. Well, let's see what happens, right? Let's do the thing. I'm going to run all my unit tests here. So, things really get cray-cray when GitHub goes down. It does. All kinds of crazy. Be careful. Be careful what you wish for. Heard the klaxon on stream? Yes. Yeah. So, bad things happen when some of those services that everybody depends on just kind of disappear. So, let's see here. Come over this, and those tests are still running. Why are they still running? You only use the original Edge, Janescu? Why? Get on to the new. The latest, the greatest. It'll make you feel good, I promise. Come on. Let's go. Everybody's waiting. There we go. 139. And it failed. Good. Why did it fail? So let's open that up. There's my simple test, Razor test runner, and the answer is it found 8 TDs. Well, let's do this. Let's put an ID on this, and we'll call it, let's call it the item template. No. So I'm going to kind of cheat here. Mostly cheat. That count should be 3. The other things that it rendered, well, we'll go look at and make sure that it rendered a pager and what that looks like. But for the purposes of this, I think I want to make sure that there are 3. 1, 2, 3. And the answer is... the answer is... Still no. Okay. Should be 3, but was 0. What? How'd that work? Oh, because it's not directly underneath. Thank you. Fix that. Thank you, Caparino. You're right. The greater than says it's directly a child of this. Here we go. Build succeeded. Come on. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Do it. All right. So that passed. Okay. So now it also generates... Hey, Howard. It also generates a pager, right? And that pager is going to have, if we look at how the form view is built right now, I'll scroll down here and open up, and we can take a look at form view Razor. For the pager, right, like I said, it's going to generate one of these. It should generate one for each one of the elements, but it's also going to generate... So we have this outer TD, this inner TD. So there's 1, there's 2, and here's the table down here. Oh boy, how do we figure this out? How do we figure out how to get into the pager and that it has the appropriate number of pages? Ah, I know. this has anchors. So I could drop in and just count the number of anchors inside of it, right? So well, it's actually going to have 2 of those because there's the current page. So I should get 2, right? Find all anchors. The count should be 2. And that should, right, that should work. We should find that. Marco, hello, welcome in. I gotta keep that whistle wet here so we can have that those finely tuned pipes here that we're talking through. Live share is open if anybody wants to join. Everybody bailed out on me, I see now. Just came in and major changes and left. I see how this works. That test performed properly. Good. All right. Next step. So now I know my form behaves properly, right? Live share broke. It stopped updating. All right. Kick off a new live shares. Kick off a new. I was going to say, I guess we're not using live share. There's a new live share for you. Okay, so I have a form view now that runs properly. If I run all the tests, it should, yeah, it's not compiling. Just run the test right now. I should get a full 139 out of 139 on my tests, right? Right. Good. 139 green. All right, so now let's write the DataBinder test and make sure that our DataBinder supports this. So I'm going to copy the same test that we wrote for form view, punch it up here for DataBinder, and I'll call it eval, not simple, eval simple form view, and fix that O. There we go. Okay. So the exact same syntax, but instead of saying item name, item this, item that, I'm going to get rid of these last 3. I need the items, but I'm going to get rid of these last 2 here so that we can change this to @eval name, right? Eval, right, this is going to go to price, right, and this will be 0:C, like that. Yeah. Eval ID. Now, I'm referencing the static data binder here, so I need to bring in yeah. Let me put data binder in front of these. Right, even though this is a static method. There we go. Now, I'm going to get the same 3 elements reported. But I want to go over those 3 and make sure that they contain the contents of that first widget. So the first widget is widget simple widget list. Right, this is my sample data that I have available. Let's do a little range here. The widget equals that. I'll take the 0th item. And I'm going to find all of the TDs. Right? Yeah, count should be 3. That's fine. Let's do this. Let's call this table cells equals those. So then we'll say table cells count should be 3. Right? Right? That works. Okay. So now table cells 0 text content should be, right, the name of that first widget. So I'm going to say the widget dot name right? And I'm going to inspect each of the cells to make sure they match. Hey, Stuart. So the next one was, is it price? Yeah, price. And I'm going to put a toString on that, like so. And the last one is going to be ID. Sure. I'll put a toString on the end of it just to be paranoid. Okay. So this should fail now. Right? Because we don't have that feature available. It doesn't support it, and boom goes the dynamite. Item type must be a reference type in order to use it as parameter item type in form view item type. What? Where did I... How did the... Who? Fine. We may need to fix that. Right, because I don't want to have to declare that. Alright, try that again. Rebuild. We have 100%... No, we don't. We have 50% sentiment. Or did I just miss it? And I need to set up like fireworks or something to go off when we hit 100% sentiment. Either that or Azure went down. And given my track record this morning, I'm willing to bet Azure went down. All right, test run finished, and we do have an error. Fantastic. So now we have a test that tries to use the DataBinder feature here. Right, and it done blowed up all over the place. It doesn't know what to do with this. Right, render process queue. It's trying to do the output, and it doesn't have a value. The item being bound was not received by the DataBinder. That's my error that I wrote. So that's because the form view doesn't. DataBind doesn't provide. Here's the value yet as a cascading. Right. Let me show you in repeater. So we need to add this as a cascading value like that. And we'll have our form view working just the way we want when we call item template right here. Okay, and it's not item, it's going to be current item. So that should have just fixed this. Jinxing the jinx, yes. How can anything get any worse? You're right, Stelzy. It can't get any worse. Oh no, it can't.
Well, do your best.
I am Headley. There we go, 140 out of 140. Let me run all the tests to make sure that I didn't break the rest of the form view.
Oh my.
I know. GitHub is back. Well, that's wonderful. It's an hour later. And where did it go, asks Cotter. It just woke up. Yeah. No. All right, 140 of 140. We've got form view working the way that I want it to now. So let's commit that. There it is. There's my new test for the DataBinder and my space for form view. So let's add all the things. Added tests for form view and support for DataBinder in the form view. Fantastic. Is it up? Is it really up? Looks like it. Maybe GitHub was having issues because last Hugo checked it was hosted on AWS. Don't know. Okay. One more down. So, our form view now supports having a having the data binding here for with DataBinder. What about that pager? I feel like I should test that pager, but I think there's other pager features that we need to take a look at first. Let me see. Let's go here. Open this. Come over there. And I'm going to go to Site, Docs, Microsoft.com, and I'm going to look for Form View. See if we can jump right into it. Web Controls, Form View class. Got it. So there's a property in here somewhere that controls how the pager appears, if it appears at all. Right? Something with the pager. There's like show pager or something like that. Right? Pager style, pager settings. Yeah. Pager settings is another object. Oh no. Okay. There isn't just a show pager. I have to go into pager settings. Okay. So you're not going to give me values for this. You're not going to give me properties of pager settings. I have to jump through to here. All right, fine. There's a mode. Next, previous, first, last. All right. I can't hide the pager, can I? Visible. Bingo. So by default, it's visible, I guess. Okay. Should we work on the... So I'm seeing here, there's a header template. Is there a footer template? A footer template. Footer style, header style. Yep. We should probably handle some of those. Yeah. Stelzy makes a very good point here. Well, if GitHub was hosted on Azure, Fritz would have problems like he has with Azure normally. You're not wrong. It's Litany asks, what's the information up there on the top banner? So that marquee, those are folks in the yellow on the left side there. Those are folks that have contributed to projects we've worked on here on stream. Their names go up there as a salute, as a thank you to their contributions to some of the projects we're currently working on stream. And then I have the top five news items from discover.net go by. So there we go. Blazor Web Forms Components, Gareth Leachman with 2 contributions this week. Over the last month, he's contributed 7, Kabazi 4, but all time, Kabazi has 10. Gareth has 7, Code DJ with 1. Mike Holloway!
Holloway 24 just resubscribed for 12 months. Woo, that year flew by fast.
Thank you so much. 1 year as a supporter. Thank you so much for that. And that's going to change up the badge next to your name. You're going to now have a rainbow hat with a propeller. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your support. And we'll make a donation to code.org. Where was I going here? I was doing a thing. There's definitely a thing. There's all kinds of style parameters in here. We've done things with those style things. I don't think we need to go through and talk about and show how to do those again. I want to do something crazy different. Well, just crazy different is a good place to start, isn't it? Sentiment is up. Look at that! 100% sentiment!
There can be only one.
Yeah, evidently only one second that we get that. Look at that. And now it's gone. 76.5. Somebody had to go and do this. I tell you. What am I doing? Let's do something different. Let's do something a little risky. Let's let's think.
Danger's my middle name.
And we'll get into something a little crazy here. So we've done item template. There isn't really an alternating item template. But what does insert item template do? Hey there, angry little hamster. Hello, hello. Good to see you. So the pager settings, pager template, pager pager style. That's a thing. Isn't there? Pager settings. Ooh, what's this? Render table. Hello. Let's look at what that is. Render table, render table, render outer table? That's not what it said up there. It said up there, render table. See? Render table. All right, I'll go to the true adjudicator of this. What does it actually do in web forms? Thank you for the file, Earl George. Welcome in. Let's see, what does this have? If I say render, thank you. Render outer table. And there is no send pull request for this article. Sign in. Sure. I know. Thank you. I don't need notification. Thank you. There is no send a pull request for this. Ah, edit. I thought it was at the bottom. Did they move it on me? Here we go. Am I in edit mode here? Hey, it's Myra. Myra wrote this. Myra's a new member on my team, working on .NET community things. Really great to see. No squirrel. There was no squirrel there. No squirreling. We're close to another giveaway. Yes, absolutely. And I have those queued up to... Yeah, I've got to ship them out. We're going to get that done. All right, events. Here. It's not render table, it's render outer table. Right there. Okay. Rename render table to render outer table. The property name available is render outer table. Okay. I can't commit, that's fine. Create a new branch and start a pull request. Sure. Do that thing. Live edit of docs on stream. Absolutely. Right? That's the property name is render outer table. Changed the property name from render table to render outer table. Fixes, there is no issue number. Okay. Yep, create the pull request. There it goes. Okay. And they'll be approving reviews and things that happen here. There's a CLA, a contributor license agreement. Make sure that I'm signed up, and before you contribute anything to the .NET Foundation, you need to basically sign away that nobody else has rights over things that you claimed on this. And it's just going to do a build here and make sure that I didn't break any of the content. Hey, Sean, good to see you. So, found an issue in the docs, so I fixed it. So, that'll run through, and it'll be a thing over there. So, it is render outer table. That might be interesting to go and explore and fix, but I don't want to do that today. Azure hat today, because we were going to do Azure, but GitHub's broken. So, not doing that. Can I? Rats. I was on right site, docs, Microsoft. That one. This one. Okay. But we've done some of these styles and templates and things, right? Let me go down here. Where to go? Right. Hello. Thank you. We've already done some of these styles and things. Part of me wants to do the insert item template. See what's involved in doing that one. Does that sound like fun, chat room? There was a question here from, is that Ovlo what? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to put your question up. What is .NET is the question over there. There it is. So .NET is a framework with a collection of languages that allows a collection of programming languages that allows you to build applications, games, web services, mobile applications, build with the same concepts, with the same language, with the same objects, the same programming constructs, and deploy and run them anywhere. It was originally built by Microsoft back in 2001, but as of, I'm going to say 2015, made completely open source. The programming languages, the three primary languages, C#, Visual Basic, and F#, all completely open source. All the definitions, the specifications, open source, available for you on GitHub. You can download and check out the specifications, see how they work, all of the libraries so that you can build for the web, desktop, mobile apps, IoT devices, and everywhere in between. All of those frameworks and libraries and components are available on GitHub, so you can build and use whatever you'd like with them. That popped up a little bit fast there. I wish I could pause that. We're going to come back to Angry Little Hamster's question here in a second. So you're able to use .NET to build and target anything. And there's a great set of tools to go with it, including Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio 2019 and Visual Studio for Mac. Monday, there's a Visual Studio for Mac event broadcast live from Microsoft Studios. I'll be there for part of the event. I hope to see you then. Now, let me come to Angry Little Hamster's question. I've been looking at using Blazor. I come from a WPF background. WPF, for those of you who don't know, is Windows Presentation Foundation. It's a framework that allows you to build for Windows desktop apps. Is there a way to develop an app that can generate static pages so I can put the generated pages on multiple sites? I would refresh them manually. I'm really interested in a generator. Well, if you're interested in a generator to generate and deliver content, you're not really looking at Blazor. You're looking at something more along the lines of YM that our friend, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. I can see him. But you're looking at, if you want to generate static pages, right? You generate static pages and then you can host dynamic content in it with JavaScript, not as much with Blazor. Blazor kind of takes over the entire site. But if you look at, it's called YM? Is that how you pronounce that? There you go. I said it. So this is a configurable static content generator and toolkit, and it doesn't use Blazor, but it lets you format and output content for you. So that, I think, might be a better solution for where you're trying to go, Angry Little Hamster. You're welcome. Is that Ovlo Akan? Best of luck to you. And I hope you stick around and see how we do some things here with .NET on channel. And always happy to answer questions. If you have a question out there, any question about the technology we're working on, things going on with Microsoft, with Visual Studio, any of the tools that we're using, please ask the questions there in the chat room. We're happy to answer them here on stream. There's a couple questions sitting over on Discord that I want to answer before we wrap up today. I want to get to those because they're sitting there in the Ask Jeff Anything channel, and I want to make sure that I give them their due as well. You're welcome, Angry Little Hamster, and I appreciate the follow, Ovlo Akan. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's been great to see you in the chat room. I encourage you to stick around, have a good time. So I'd like to tinker with this insert item template. What's it mean for our form view to have this insert item template? Because I think, right, this is kind of the crux of what I was saying. The form view, right, helps with data entry types of screens that folks are going to have, right? Someone's got a stack of forms and they've got to key in data from those forms. It might be accounting receipts. It might be insurance claims. It might be whatever, right? Some sort of data that somebody's keying in by hand or something like that, where they just need to be able to key something in, next, key something in, next, key something in, next, and it saves the data and just brings up another insert template. Now, is there a sample here that shows that insert item template? There's one. Can we do something? Can we lift a little bit of this concept and use it for one of our samples here that we're going to go at? Frank's at 8,000 of the 10,000 marvelous Fritz bits. Well, thank you. So if you look just below chat, right over here, just right there, just look down at the bottom of chat if you're watching on a browser. If you're on a phone, it's going to be on that side, just below, right? And it should be turning like cyan every now and again with a little treasure chest, right? Those are called channel points. On this channel, we call them Fritz bits, and they look like little orange gears, kind of like the Ritz crackers. See, I did a thing there. Anyways, if you collect those, you can click that button, and there's all kinds of things that you can redeem it for. Ask me to change my hat. You can, we can put funny voices on here as well. But you can also challenge me. You can also challenge me by saying, you know what, you need to use light mode in the browser. You need to put on party mode, right? You need to use a really tricky font to see here. Go to Papyrus or Comic Sans. Good luck to you, Fritz. We can do those things. So check them out. All kinds of fun that we can have with that. Now, I'm going to take this concept that they have in this sample for, well, there's edit item template. There was an insert item template here as well, right? So we can do insert row style. I don't know what those do yet. I also see empty data text. I don't know what that does yet either. So we lifted a little bit of this sample to get the item template. Here's insert item template. So insert item template is this block down here that looks like it's a couple labels, couple text boxes. Oh, this is going to be a real treat. You don't think change hat is enabled? Do I have it turned off? I might have it turned off still from when we were dressed as a squirrel the other day. Yes, I was dressed as a squirrel. Oh, you're right. I'll turn that back on. So you can tell me to wear different hats, turn on live share. Live share right now is turned on. Anybody can jump in there. Comic Sans font. You can make me Thanos. Squirrel. No squirrel. You can make me sound like a squirrel. Change my font to Papyrus. All kinds of stuff here you can set in order to have a little fun with me. So there you go. These with the text boxes, this is where I think we may have a little bit of trouble. We might have a little bit of, might run into a little bit of an issue here. Okay. But there's a link button that says command name new. Command name new.
And then?
I don't know. We need to be able to handle that command within our component, right? So let's start with that right there, right? How does this bit work here at the end? Now, I'm pretty sure I know how it works in you know, the
Hello?
I'm thinking.
Anybody home?
I'm thinking.
Hey, think with fly, think.
Web forms. But what should it look like in, right? I mean, if we put it down here, do a thing like this, and right, it's not really a call span at 2, but whatever, sure. I don't care. And if we run that, right? Not debug test, debug, start new instance. It is HTML. It's right HTML mixed with Razor templating, mixed with C#. That's what we call Razor templating. And we're taking the old ASP.NET syntax, which is this syntax here. We're going to make it work. Now, what the? Oh, there we go. Here it is. This is Chromium Edge Chromium, whatever. So here's my form view. And, okay, now look. Wait a second. How does that work? I put the link button at the bottom that says new. Look, table, TRTD, right? It's below that one. Okay, yeah, and it's above the pager. All right. So, and this is, oh, look at that. Look at that syntax down there at the bottom on the footer of the browser. You probably can't see it if you're watching on a phone, but it says JavaScript __ do post back. Right? And if I click that, it's going to say fired event mode changing, which wasn't handled. All right. So there's a thing here we need to do something with. I know. Lots of JavaScript. We're going to have to do something about this, right? Let's get that formatted a little better. Okay. So it fires an event called mode changing. Mode changing then does what? We need to handle that and do something. Right? So that, do we have to tell it to change mode? That feels ugly. If we have to tell it, oh, you're now in this mode now. Right? Binding to data, right? Mode changing. Occurs before it changes mode. This event is often used to cancel a mode change. But it sounds like I need to implement this. Right? Form view mode event args. That's just ugly. Hey, Honey Pop. Honey Pop asks a very good question here that we need to put an FAQ around for some of this. Am I making this library for migration or for people that like using web forms? Good question. This is intended to help with migration. We want to help folks get from web forms into Blazor with as little code change as possible, and they still get their markup working in the next environment. Confession chimes in here and says, this will be used when changing from view to edit, insert. Yeah, the mode changing. Right, and it allows us to turn off and do different things here. Okay. All right. So let's implement the mode changing event handler in our form view so that we can get ready to introduce a button that will appropriately trigger and take us to that next thing, that next mode. You thought you were doing something similar. You thought about doing something similar for Cold Fusion. Honey Pop, I hadn't thought about that. Be able to give folks a way to go from Cold Fusion to Blazor? That'd be interesting. That's a very interesting idea. I'm intrigued. I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear where that's going, because there's definitely a lot of folks that have Cold Fusion apps out there, and there's a lot of, dare I say, refugee Cold Fusion developers that would benefit from being able to take their applications and get them into newer, better frameworks, modern frameworks, whether it's Blazor, a Node with Express and Angular, or something like that. No. Listen. Honey Pop,
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
They have. Getting folks some sort of migration bridge, some sort of library that helps them get to the modern frameworks and tools is extremely valuable. Thank you for the follow. Is that Ubu Crawl? Welcome. What about donkeys? Do donkeys love JavaScript? No donkeys. Sorry. Just horses. That's all. So let's get this mode changed event handler in here, and we're going to need those event args to go with this as well. I'm not going to create a test for this per se. Why did I just reopen that? Why, Jeff? Why? Down here, all right, so there's form view. So form view is going to have, we're going to need to put an event handler in here. We'll get rid of this one. I don't feel too proper about how that is rendering, but we'll get there. So we're going to set up some form view events, right? And yes, I'm using regions because it's going to help keep this a little bit neat and tidy, how all these things are going in here, because this is going to be a large class. And we can end up moving these into other partial classes in other files with these various segments. But for now, I like the idea of putting it in a region so I can see just my parts that I'm working with here. Okay, so if we're going to have a mode changing event handler, right? So event handlers, let me show you in our base, let's go look at the base data binding. We have an event callback with a type of event arguments and whatever the name of that is. So we're going to use very similar signature here. Why did it open jQuery? Why did you open jQuery? Nobody asked for jQuery. Paste that in. So instead of on data binding, the name of our method is mode changing. Okay. Mode changing. And it's not event args, right? It's going to be a new class. So I'm surprised nobody wrote any code. I had what's it called open there? Nobody wrote any code. Live share open. So the type of this is form view mode event args. We'll make it that. And this is going to inherit from event args. Right, event args is our base event arguments class that defines, here's the arguments that happen during an event. This is going to be here. Okay. Missing XML comment for wah. All right. So what do those arguments look like? You gonna tell me what the, here it is. Right. What properties do I have on this chalupa that we can look at? Constructors properties. Cancel gets or sets a value indicating whether the event should be canceled. So that's going to be a Boolean. I'm guessing canceling edit, indicating whether it was raised as a result of user canceling an edit operation. New mode. Okay. And the methods are all kind of blah. All right. Are you kidding? Oh, new mode is a form view mode. Oh, okay. So cancel, this should be, yep, that's a Boolean. All right. Canceling edit, that should be a Boolean too, right? Yeah, okay. So let's put those two on to start here. So those are two properties, right? Bool, cancel, bool, canceling edit, right? Something like that. Yeah. And the last one is new mode, right? And that was, there was a form view mode, and this was new mode, right? Not ready to mash the keyboard yet, DJ Vortex, yeah. Let me come back here to chat. There's a couple questions here. Honeypop has a question about Blazor. Does anyone know if it's possible to have a component only render its child content if a certain condition is true inside the component itself? Yes. Yes, you can do this. So, right, you could do... take a look at how I do list view over here. Right, if the control is visible, it doesn't render anything. If it's right, if you set on the control the visible property is false, it doesn't render anything. Otherwise, if there are no items, render an empty data template. Otherwise, render this. So there's also the ability to say child content, right? There's a child content parameter that you can set up that's kind of a catch-all. And I have that set up, I believe, on tree view. Here we go. So, right, I have child content here. You can take a look, you can dig into the source for the project here. And yep, child content is, right, is a render fragment. It's a catch-all by default that says catch anything that's a child of this markup, right? And this is how I do the static markup for tree view. Take a look. The tree view, I think, is going to get you where you want to be, because there's also down here the ability to do data binding. And if you don't have, right, if you don't data bind and you don't provide any child content, it won't render anything. So there's a couple ways to do that. Makes sense now, says Honeypop. Best of luck to you. Let me know if you have any other questions. But please, feel free to take a look at the source code for tree view out there. It's on the GitHub repository. You should be able to click through and find it. Ovloacon asks, here we go. How popular is F# and is it worth learning? So, C# has millions of developers, right? And to the criticism of folks in the technical community, there are things inside of Visual Studio, inside of the .NET command line, that share some information about who and how often people are using the various tools, and that's how Microsoft knows some of that. And they've shared some of these numbers previously, that there are millions of .NET developers. Most of them, overwhelmingly, most of them are C#. Significantly less are Visual Basic, and significantly less than that are F#. There are lots and lots of F# developers, but it's not the language that folks go to first when they talk about .NET. The F# community is very passionate. They do some amazing things in open source for their language, for their community, and they've built out tremendous features, editors, and tool sets. Folks that are doing functional programming absolutely love F#. It's a great language for functional programming. I encourage you, if that's what you want to do, go check out F#. But the overwhelming majority of .NET developers are C# first. Stelzy's right. .NET is written in C#. So, and there's nothing wrong with any of the three programming languages that are predominantly used with .NET. It's to each their own. Choose what makes you happy. That's kind of the reason why there's multiple languages that support and run with .NET. Because people have different ways to interact with different things. Form view mode is going to be another one of our enums that we have up here. So I don't have a form view mode enum yet, so let's create one. Form view mode. and I'll make this a public enum. An enum is just an enumeration. It's a definition of here's a couple different types of things that you can select. So form view mode, I'll click into this and grab the enumeration values. There they are. And I'm going to copy paste, as all good developers do. That, and we'll delete these and put this over here. Make that an equals and put a comma there. Get rid of those and set that. Okay, let's put them in the right order. There we go. Why isn't Karnak running? Blah 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 blah. Okay, good. Zebcode. Oh my goodness. Best of luck to you, my friend. Hang in there. Well wishes out to you. I hope you get better soon. And I'm happy that we could be here and write some code together with you while you're watching on stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate you tuning in. And call me on it when, if we do anything here, please, Yeah, I hope you feel better there. Boom Boom says, couldn't handle Visual Basic, started with Visual Basic, failed to complete a simple clock application and quit. Oh no. Week later, had your first functional C++ program. C syntax is easier for Boom Boom. See, and that's the kind of thing that we talk about around having choice. It's good to have choice around your developer tools, languages, frameworks, because different things will behave differently and feel more proper for different folks. Use what makes you happy. There is no one right way to do things, except for tabs. Everybody should use tabs. Don't use spaces. Use tabs. And Vim. Everybody loves Vim. You should use Vim. Right? Isn't that the way we should be doing things?
Alrighty then.
See? Brave Cobra is here. Hello. You prefer C syntax? That's great. All right, and C#, Java have a similar syntax. C has a little bit different syntax. C++ has a similar object-oriented syntax, but different, right? There's different things you need to manage and be able to handle, and that's okay, right? Different tools for different folks to do different things. So, okay, I did a control period there. There we go. Thank you. Give me my auto-completion. Why didn't Karnak start? Try that again. You prefer beer over Java, says Protopoly. Well, okay. So here's the problem with using spaces. Right, there it goes. It popped up. We've had this discussion before. When you use spaces, you are forcing people to see things exactly the same way as you, which is not inclusive. It's not welcoming. It's a little bit of gatekeeping, to be perfectly honest. Because if your screen is this size, and you keep things indented 2 spaces, that's really hard to see. And if your screen is this size, and you keep things indented 8 spaces, I can't even see what you're doing. But if you use tabs, now you're letting the rendering of how many spaces that is to me. And whether I'm looking at this size, or that size, it'll look appropriate for my eyes and your eyes, no matter what editor we're using. So, and there are languages that require you to use spaces and you cannot use tabs, which, in hindsight, when you consider the accessibility for other folks using the browser, using the editor. And I work with folks who are blind, 100% cannot see. When you use spaces instead of tabs, that space loses its value. I don't know whether that space is because it's a space between items here, or it's a space because you decided to indent. It's now confusing for those folks. So that's why I encourage folks to use tabs. because everybody needs to be able to see your code at some point. And not everybody sees the same way you do. They might be 21 and have perfect vision and be able to see at whatever font size. That's great. They might be 63 and need to see a little bit larger font. They might not be able to see at all. Help everybody be able to interact with your code. Mr. Swez, I bet there should be some kind of plugin to display tabs as spaces and convert before pushing to a remote GitHub repo. There is. In fact, Visual Studio will do that for you. There's a little pop-up that'll appear that'll say, oh, you've got a combination of tabs and spaces. Convert. So there are things that will help you with that. We should put some XML documents on this. I'm going to move this out into its own file, and I now have mode changing as a capability here for my form view. So I can wire up now a mode changing event so that we can handle that. But I still need to be able to have, right? Now that I have mode changing, and I have a new mode property for that, that's nice. I want to be able to do... I have my link button, right? That's going to set the mode, right? Not mode changing, not that one. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? We had a sample here we were looking at. Scroll around, Jeff. Go find it. Where'd it go? Edit. Yes. Was it the next one up? It was a simple one. Form view, header style, item templates. There it is. Well, that's edit. It doesn't matter. It was the same thing. There was a link button for new. This one. And notice there's no code to go with this. It's just the ASP.NET. Right? They didn't even include the C# that goes with this that says here's how it does all those things. Anyways, so that button is going to trigger the mode change event, and we should be able to do something there. No, we're not old Protopoly. We're aged like a fine wine. We're wiser developers who've been around the block once or twice and know exactly how things are gonna break. So this issues a new command, right? Do I have that right? So if I go back here, let's continue with that before web forms, and let's add that mode changing. You open. Thank you. So there was a mode, right, on mode changing. We need to put some sort of event in there. I don't care what it is. Do the thing. And now let's see what happens when we run this. Now that we can handle mode changing. Jeff didn't call anybody old. He made statements about age. If you feel like they apply to you, well, yeah. Look, you've seen. I've got plenty of salt and pepper and going on here. I'm right there with many of us in being a seasoned developer that's been around a little bit. Salt and pepper, seasoned. That's okay. Form view. All right. So now when I click new, nothing happens. Is that because I don't have the new item template? Nothing happened. Right, what's the other one? It's insert item template, right? What's insert row style? What's that do? Right, what's insert row style? The style for when the form view control is set in insert mode. Settings for the data row, header row, footer row. But it's... Why isn't it just insert style? Right? Form view control provides several events that you can program against. This allows you to run a custom routine. Look at all these events we're going to have to handle. Okay. It's okay. We can do this. So insert, right, there's... Because the form view control uses templates, it does not provide a way to automatically generate command buttons to perform updating, deleting, or inserting operations. You must manually include these command buttons in the appropriate template. Dun dun dun. The form view control recognizes certain buttons that have their command name property set to specific values. So yeah, so new will recognize and handle this. So here's the thing, right? We need to be able to handle that new command and do something with it. Okay. Right, so that insert item template defines the content for the data row when the form view control is set in insert mode. Okay. So let's make it when it's in insert mode, right? Whatever. I don't care. Insert mode. Right? And there's a cancel, isn't there? Yeah, cancel. So, right, we'll figure out, we'll do more here for what this looks like later. ASP link button, ID equals cancel button. Sure, right? Text equals cancel. Command name equals... See, we're going to need a link button. This isn't a thing in our collection, but we're going to need this because we don't have it. Command name is what? Cancel. Right? So now, I'm thinking we're going to need a couple of these buttons added into the mix here. Like link button, so that we can have this actually do a thing. Now, why don't you give me a green underline there? Oh, because I don't have run at equals server. Maybe I'll get it in before it parses it. Alright. New. And it doesn't do anything. Hang on. So, didn't we wire up a mode changing? Right? So what happens? Shouldn't that hit? So do we actually have to come through and force it to the right mode? It's used to cancel a mode change, but do we actually have to specify and say, oh, yes, you're going to the new mode? If new mode is this... Shouldn't it just do? It is music to flow by. You are correct. I know. What? We shouldn't have to specify this, do we? No. No JavaScript. No JavaScript was harmed in the writing of this context, of this application. So, employee form view mode changing, which is this. Switch the new mode and goes through. And it doesn't cancel. So, big shout out to Carl Franklin. Absolutely. So, right, that should... It's not saying cancel. New mode is insert. Right, so it should go over to insert mode. But it's not. It's not repainting the screen. Okay, so how do ASP net form view, and we need to wrap up here. So we're gonna let's look at this one. Defining the data. Wait a sec. Yeah, web forms. Right. Okay, item template. Specifying item template markup. Yeah. Data binding, we're going to do lots of data binding in this. You don't specify anything about how to get back and forth to the other templates. Oh, there's allow paging. We should be able to turn that on too. Rats. Well, that's not That's not a very good article. This one? Bean Software. Let's see. Update parameters, insert parameters on a data source. Oh, don't do that to me. Item template, good. There we go. Link buttons to do all the different commands. How to edit, insert, delete data in form view. Yes. Here's your templates. Okay, but how do we get between them? Paging, that's wonderful. Drop down list inside a form view. I'm not looking for that right now. You're not going to show me how to do this, are you? And you feel shame. You should feel shame. Where's the header of the form view? You're not even showing me the header of the form view control? Come on now. Let's see. Why don't we have it? You need to set the data key names property to the name of your table primary key. All right, fine. Let's go back over there. It's ID. It's already set. Okay. So then what? Yeah. This doesn't tell me how to do it either. NetJam Jr. If I want to pick up a framework in .NET to make browser-based web apps, do I suggest learning? Hey, look at that. Do I suggest learning Blazor, MVC, web forms, or something else? I would suggest learning MVC right now. I think Blazor is where it's going to get to, but I would suggest learning MVC, particularly MVC on ASP.NET Core. It's going to give you a good concepts around separation of concerns. Coming in from WPF, you're not going to have the components that you're used to in WPF that you're going to be able to work with. That you'll see in Blazor. MVC is very on the metal with writing exactly the tags that are going to be output to the browser. So that would be the direction I would go for now. We're going to have to spend some time taking a look at how to do the changing of modes here in the form view, because it's not clear to me why this isn't changing modes, and I am just about out of time. Taming the form view from our friends at Code Project. The form view challenge. The form view is a challenge? I don't know if I'd call it a challenge. Tips and tricks. Form view change mode. So you're clicking a button and saying change to this mode. I don't have to. Do I have to do that? No. And wait a sec. 2009. Yes. Okay. And this looks like WinForms form view. No, it is ASP.NET. Okay. But I don't see it coding the application, right? Data table, list. Yeah, that's fine. Blah, blah, blah. Here it is. Form view. Run at data key names on item command. Okay. So it's interesting that he calls on item command here. Form view on item command. Does he write that somewhere? Here. He switches on. Oh, and he's not using the default command names. And he's routing appropriately. Oh boy. There is not a dev intersection today. Next dev intersection will be Saturday. So I think we're gonna back off on this for right now, because I'm not sure why that isn't properly changing modes here for us, but we're gonna get into that. Let me check in my source code, because we're investigating, we're figuring out what features to build here, but we got that mode changing capability in there. So let's clean up our code. Where'd it go? I'm looking for the sound effect. There's a sound effect. There it is. Clean up our code, wrap up. Added mode changing to the form view. Added the mode changing event. Right, so you know that it's changing. It's not a great feature, but we added that feature and we're trying to figure out what those next steps are so we can have it properly change to the different modes. And I think we're going to end up having to build a link button and some other buttons that properly raise commands back to their containing component. Since we have a feature with that command name capability that we may need to juggle here. So chat room, we may need to take a step back and reevaluate. We may need to add some button components here to handle some of those things. Not terrible, but something we're going to need to reevaluate. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you joining me here for a little bit of coding this morning. Does Microsoft have free dinner too? What? No, there are no free lunches, free dinners at Microsoft. We're not one of those places, Ozzy. We actually pay our people enough that they can afford to buy their own meals. So, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining me. We didn't get a chance to work with Azure today and GitHub like I hoped, but we got to spend some time going through our form view. We hooked up the DataBinder so that the form view does now interact with and participate in the DataBinder. DNI stream, you're catching me just as I'm ending. Oh my goodness. That's okay. Thank you so much for the raid. But we're going to reevaluate here and figure out those next steps to go with form view so that we can get the alternate editing capabilities running. So you can say insert, edit, and wire up those commands. That, I think, is going to be our next step with this component. Not a problem, DNI stream. That's okay. I'm going to take a look. Let's see. I thought I saw some friends, some new friends who haven't been streaming too long, just start up here. Let's see if we can set up a raid and welcome them in. Say hello to those folks. Let's take a look over here. Yeah, we're going to have some fun with that Azure deploy because Azure doesn't behave too well for me on stream typically, but we'll take a look. We will make this work. Let me see. I thought I saw. There he is. You know what? Somebody who's writing some code and writing some tests right now is a friend of mine, Andy Schwam. So let's welcome him in. He's a brand new streamer. I like helping out some of these folks that are brand new to Twitch. So let's get ready. You've got your raid commands all set up there. Thank you, Hugo, for setting these up. If you're a subscriber, grab this first line, copy it onto your clipboard. If you're not, that's okay. Grab the second line, copy it onto your clipboard, because we are going to raid. This is Schwami Says. No? Where is it? I'm going to find it. I am going to find. There is Schwami Streams. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to write some more code. We're going to get through this form view. We're going to wire it up so that it can go through the various states, and we'll push that out and make it available so that we can jump through, insert, edit, and even have some of those other commands fire. Get ready to say hello to my friend Andy Schwam. Take care. Yes, I do use the release version of Karna. See ya tomorrow.